This is an activity to practice projectile motion model problems that's using the quadratic equation to apply it to real life situations, usually involving gravity. So here are the basics. You have zeros, you have a y-intercept and a vertex, and those are going to be the most important pieces of data. And then depending on the question, you're going to go to those places to get your answer. The most important thing I could tell you is that time is on the x-axis. So that means any x value on this parabola, the x value is referring to the time at which it was at that location. So the x at this point right here, at the y-intercept, x is 0, right? So this is where the event is beginning. And it's a bit beginning at 0, time is 0. And then what is the y value? That is the height. So this event is beginning way up here, not on the ground down here. And that's why this 0 doesn't make any sense or mean anything. Because when this event, like say it was someone throwing a rock or something, when it started, this would be a negative time. I don't know what negative time would, that doesn't make any sense. So you're not going to use that 0. If the 0 was right here, you might be asked a question about it, but now the vertex, that's the absolute maximum height, and then what time it took to get to that maximum height. So the height would be the y value of the vertex, and the time that it took to get there would be the x value of the vertex. Then, how long did this whole thing take to happen? The object leaves the person's hand, the rock flies up and comes back down. And what does it do here? It's hitting the ground. So now its height is going to be 0. And then the x value tells you the amount of time it took for the whole thing to occur. See if there's anything. Then one other question that you might get asked, well, you definitely will get asked, is where was something at a certain amount of time? So if they give you a time, which is an x value of like, let's say 5 seconds, then what they're asking you is, on this parabola, when x is 5, what is the y value? And that would tell you the height that that object is at that time. So let's say 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, 6 second, 7 second, 8. Okay, so let's pretend this was representative of 8 seconds. Then at 5 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming up here, right up here, and then come across, okay, it just happens to be around the y-intercept. That was coincidence. Okay, what is the y value for a dot on this parabola at exactly 5 when the x value is exactly 5? What is the y value? So how would you find that? Well, I guess you could move your cursor along, like on, let me show you what I mean. So here's a parabola, right? You could just move your cursor along and it'll tell you what the x value is. So if we were trying to figure out what the y value is when the x value is 5, I could just keep going along here until I hit exactly 5. Or you could type into this equation, you're talking about when the x value is 5, right? So you could replace the x's with 5. And then what is the y? Oh, negative 305. So that is how that works. Okay, now let's go to the actual question. So you definitely would probably want to type the equation into Desmos that you're given, and then look at the graph to find this information. And let's look at the questions. Okay, so I would recommend typing this into Desmos And then what is the maximum height that Maria will achieve? Well, where is she at that vertex? If they're looking for height, they're looking for a y value. If they're looking for time, you're looking for an x value. So answer that question. Okay, and you can answer this question. Answer this question. Notice that all of these A values are negative 16 so far. That has to do with gravity. Here we go. Keep answering the questions. Oh, that's interesting. Not related to gravity, apparently. And I think there's two more. Okay, thank you for completing your Ed puzzle. And done.